Hey guys, how you doing? It's Tom. I'm back, and on this video, I would like to discuss in my, some of the things that I think you should bring to the Philippines when you come here to visit or live. And some of these items are going to be like definitely for like you know if you're going to come here to live. But there's some of the stuff is both. You know what I mean? Like it applies to both some of these items, and also what not to bring. And I'm going to start out with that actually, what not to bring here. And I will say that this is pretty much. I mean, this applies. Some of it applies to both, but a lot of it applies to if you're coming here to live. And I know that if you are coming here to live, some of you out there from the U.S., especially, are going to be maybe sending yourself a couple boxes, a couple of LBC boxes, like those large Balikbayan boxes, right? That LBC has. Which, by the way, within the Philippines, they don't have boxes that big at LBC. Their biggest box is sort of like they call it like an extra large or something, but or whatever. But it's seriously like the same size as a small in the U.S. Okay, just keep that in mind. When you're here, and maybe you're going to send something to like your wife or girlfriend's family or something in another part of the Philippines. Just keep that in mind. If you want to send them something big, then if you send yourself stuff here to the Philippines, for both of you or whatever, like for when you get here, like the big boxes, then keep them. When they arrive, empty them, put them in your apartment or house or whatever, and then break the boxes down and hang on to them. And then you can use them later. Because they will pick them up here, but they don't supply them. Like if you go to an LBC, they're not going to have those because they're not really useful here. You know what I mean? Like people that send them their family stuff here, they're not going to send these big, huge boxes like that. You know what I mean? They're just going to send the smaller ones. Whether it's food or just a few items or whatever. But they don't go crazy. Because they're all living here already. But anyway, if you do that, yeah, just keep that in mind. Um, and okay, so let's just get on to the list here. I could talk if you've got some questions about LBC. You could send them to me. You can comment, and I might even make another video just on that. Um, but for now, let's talk about like what you don't need to bring here. Okay, and some of these things I brought. And now I'm kind of like, like I'm not gonna like regret it, you know what I mean, for the rest of my life or anything like that. But I'm sort of like I probably didn't need to bring it. I actually brought a mini stereo because I couldn't find one here. Like in all my previous visits before I came here to live, I couldn't find anything comparable. You know what I mean? Like just like a mini stereo. It has like a receiver and a CD player, and this one even has a cassette deck, and then of course I think there's like 3 or 4 right mini components, and then there's speakers with it. There's like 4 speakers, and there's a separate turntable that I can plug into the auxiliary, and I can use a turntable because I brought some records. Um, that stuff would be kind of like unless you're really into music, you really want to bring your own like I got records that I got to bring and all that. Then you probably should bring it. You know what I mean? But if you're sort of like just, you know what I mean, like most Americans probably have a certain amount of accumulation of music like that, of CDs, and maybe even guys my age like cassettes and whatever records. If you're just casual and you're like, it's not that I'm not that into it, just give them to your family members or to hold for you or something. You know what I mean? Like don't bring them here. They take up a lot of room in the LBC box and stuff, and it might not be worth it for you. You can watch stuff on YouTube. You know what I mean? There's like any kind of music that you can think of, any song almost that you can think of. You could see it or hear it or both on YouTube. Yeah, there's other avenues for music too, like Spotify, and you know what I mean. There's just like even the free version of Spotify, has music and stuff. So that would be number one on the list. I also bought a VCR DVD combo. I mean, I brought it with me. I bought it like 20 years ago or whatever. And I brought it because there was some VHS tapes that are kind of like not really replaceable. They're not just regular movies. They're like certain series of like the Twilight Zone and the Outer Limits and stuff like that. I know that I could probably have gotten these things online, you know what I mean? Like, but I had them already, so I thought, I brought them with me. Um, like I said, unless you're really into that, you know what I mean? Like, I would probably think twice about that, about bringing stuff like that. Um, Seriously, there wasn't too many movies that I brought. You know what I mean? It was mostly just stuff like I had some tornado videos, and I was getting into that stuff like 30 years ago, and I had just stuff like that. Even some old boxing fight movies from on video from fights from like 50 years ago and whatnot, 60, 70, 80 years ago even. They're kind of cool, and I've seen them since I've been here. I watched them, but I'm just saying, like that's why I brought them. But if you don't have that type of stuff, yeah, don't even bother bringing it. You know what I mean? Like, don't go out of your way. Just get rid of them or give them to a family member or something. And then as far as like just common like household stuff or whatever, like soaps, deodorant, shampoo, they have all that stuff here. You know what I mean? Like they have American products, and in that regard. And I'm in Manila, but you know what? You could probably get that stuff even in the small cities here at the malls or at the grocery stores or whatever. Or if you do become an S&R member or Landers, they're going to have that stuff. Dove soap and whatever, everything that you need. Um, and then you know what? This was kind of funny because I was into like drinking those K cup coffees. I had a Keurig coffee maker with K cups, and it's convenient. It's good. You could buy good coffee even at your grocery store. On sale even, right? You could buy the good stuff, but just wait till it's on sale because there's always something on sale. Usually at the grocery stores, or at least there was. Up to about a year or so ago. um, but you know what? It's difficult to find here. Okay, not only is it difficult to find the the coffee makers themselves. Like if you're thinking, oh, I'll bring my coffee maker, my Keurig. Okay, but there's not that many places to buy the K cups. You know what I mean? Like I'm telling you, like even at S&R, I don't remember seeing any there in the coffee section. And if they had them, they only had one brand, or something. You know what I mean? So it's like I would just figure on this. Bring the coffee press, or if you have a coffee press, if you like coffee, regular ground coffee, bring a coffee press. Like they make them smaller, they make them a little larger, whatever. Yeah, throw that in the box, or even in your check luggage or something like that. Same thing with you could get a regular coffee maker here. Don't even bother bringing a regular coffee maker. They've got the small ones. They're pretty cheap here. They're like 700 pesos, 800 pesos, whatever. It's like 15 bucks. You know what I mean? US. Just do that. Don't even bother with bringing that. They do have the coffee presses here, but they're not a lot of them. You know what I mean? I did happen to find two of them actually. And then Starbucks had one, but that was more expensive, of course. They had like a really nice one that was, like 1,000, whatever it was. It was over 1,000 pesos, I think. Um, I forget. It might have been more than that. But it was like a little too much. You know what I mean? I'm not Mr. Tightwad, but I mean, I don't think I need to spend, more than I need to for things. Um, And all right, so yeah, I would just stick with, and you can get ground coffee here, by the way. Regular like branded, different brand ground coffee. I think Hypermart has it. A lot of the regular groceries don't necessarily have a lot of it. Okay, or they'll have maybe whole bean. Sometimes you'll find the whole bean coffee if you don't mind grinding your own coffee. Some people prefer it, but I know S&R has a lot of whole bean coffee, but they also have ground coffee, and that's where I got the Seattle's Best, which turns out to be really good. So yeah, I wound up drinking instant coffee for like until recently, until about a month ago, for about 5 months, man. And it's like it's okay, but then I just got sick of it. Like one day, I was just like, man, I can't drink this anymore. Like so. You might want to just save yourself that introductory period and just, you can get ground coffee here. You know what I mean? Like, so you might want to just indoctrinate yourself back into that level of coffee. If you're into coffee. I mean, every morning I drink a 12-ounce mug. But that's it. I don't drink any more the rest of the day. But yeah. So what else? Now, some of the more obvious things, right? Especially if you're on just a 1 month trip here, you're not going to be living here. You don't need sweaters or coats or even long sleeve shirts or long pants. You're not going to need any of that stuff. If you're visiting here, unless you're going to North Luzon, northern Luzon, right? Maybe Baguio and north of there, or maybe that Batanes Island, right, which is even north of there. If you're visiting there, yeah, you might want to bring a light, like a sweatshirt thing, or those sweat things that zip up with the hood that have some liner in them, something like that. You might want to bring that because it does get cool in those areas. I think especially sometimes at night, not cold, but a lot cooler than the rest of the Philippines. But if you're going anywhere else, Manila or anywhere south of Manila, you know what I mean? You don't need none of that. You really don't. And if you're coming here to live, I'll tell you this: if you want to bring a long sleeve shirt, like because you think you might want to wear a suit or just dress nice once in a while or once in a whatever, a couple times or whatever, just bring a couple, maybe no more than two. Same thing with the long pants, maybe two, maybe three at the most, and make sure it's that light material, that summer pants material. Like you know what I mean. Not, you don't want to bring wool pants here, to the Philippines. You don't want to bring wool anything here, really. That's about it. Yeah, and I would say that's pretty much all I have on my list. I might be missing a few things, but these are the things that just kind of jumped off the top of my mind. You know what I mean? And I did kind of take notes on this and stuff. But yeah, there's probably some other stuff too. You know what I mean? Like if I went through some of my stuff that I sent here, it's like, why did I bring this? But that's about it, guys. And what I'm gonna do is then I'm gonna make a separate video. I don't want to keep blabbering on. I'm gonna make a separate video on what to bring or what I recommend to bring here that would be helpful and useful. Stuff that they don't have a ton of here. You know what I mean? That you might want to bring, and especially again if you're gonna live here. But some of the items will be also applicable to like coming here for 25 days or 30 days or 28 days or whatever. So, all right, guys. Until later, I'll talk to you